tomorrow, no tomorrow. And I find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. Mad world. Children waiting for the day they feel good. Happy birthday, happy birthday.
Hello, my name is Christiane Hall, and I am a constitutional attorney. A federal judge has blocked President Donald Trump's executive order, giving guidance to the executive branch that birthright citizenship is not the policy of our federal government. I have been studying this issue of birthright citizenship for many years now, and I'm going to explain to you what the 14th Amendment actually says. Because the 14th Amendment does not establish birthright citizenship. And for those out there who are lawyers or even armchair lawyers who want to talk to me about Wong Kim Ark, don't worry, we're actually going to discuss that too. But the 14th Amendment actually states all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. The addition of the language and subject to the jurisdiction thereof is the key to understanding why birthright citizenship, as it is applied in modern times, is not justified by the 14th Amendment and is unconstitutional. There is evidence to this as well. When you look at the congressional record at the debate of the 14th Amendment, you see that the authors of the 14th Amendment, specifically Senator Howard from Michigan, establishes the understanding of the term and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. In this congressional record, it says, this will not, of course, include persons born in the United States who are foreigners, aliens, who belong to the families of ambassadors or foreign ministers accredited to the government of the United States, subject to the jurisdiction thereof. By the intent of the drafters of the 14th Amendment, language means that you don't get to come on a visitor's visa, you're not a foreigner on our soil, dropping a baby and calling it American. Under proper application of constitutional law principles, if you are confused about the term within the Constitution, you don't get to go to the courts and make it up. The first place you have to go is the intent of the drafters. The intent of the drafters is recorded in congressional record. Birthright citizenship is not an intention of the 14th Amendment. It is an invention of activist judges. I have been confronted by those who have been miseducated and misinformed about the proper application of the 14th Amendment and birthright citizenship. And they're always saying, Wong Kim Ark, you lose. Okay? If you are repeating to me Wong Kim Ark as a justification that someone on a visitor visa can come to Disneyland, have a baby, and now that baby is a citizen, you are either ignorant, illiterate, or have never actually read yourself the opinion in Wong Kim Ark, because that is a very disingenuous presentation of the facts from that opinion. Wong did not establish jus soli, or birth on the soil, as a constitutional doctrine for every baby born within the boundaries of the United States. Quite to the contrary, the court specifically, narrowly tailored their opinion to Wong's specific circumstances. Wong's parents, the court decided, was subject to the jurisdiction thereof because Wong's parents were permanent legal residents under the China-U.S. treaty called the Burlingame Treaty. This opinion did not address children born to temporary visitors. This opinion did not address children born to illegal aliens, and any broader interpretations beyond Wong's interpretation of subject to the jurisdiction thereof is beyond the specified facts of this case. Now, Wong itself applied a judicial revision authority by establishing that a legal resident alien, their child, would be subject to the jurisdiction thereof based on their legal permanent residence in the United States, where the original intent of the 14th Amendment was not to include foreigners at all, aliens of any kind. So the Supreme Court in Wong did create an expanded definition of subject to the jurisdiction thereof, diverging from the intent of the 14th Amendment and its drafters. But it did not create the modern misapplication and broader interpretation used by today's legal analysts and experts and even professors and politicians. So I can't wait for Trump to challenge this federal judge. I have even contemplated submitting an amicus brief on behalf of my law firm based on my studies and actual history and actual congressional record. This question needs to be settled once and for all, and this Supreme Court needs to return American citizenship back to a truly legal, truly constitutional, truly common sense understanding that restores the value of the term citizen in this union. For more information on proper constitutional education and understanding, please go to libertyfirstsociety.com. Not only will you find adult training there, but we have a homeschool curriculum that teaches American history and American government at the middle school and high school levels. Guarantee you can trust to not have historical revision or expanded interpretation beyond the original intent and factual basis of our Constitution as contract between the states.
So Donald Trump signed an executive order ending birthright citizenship, and I was like, wow, you can fucking do that? Like, how do you can change law? No, that is the law. Get ready for some fucking history. Guess what I did? I got in this little fucking box we got right here. Yeah, all the information in the world, and this is why history is important. First, let's cover the 14th Amendment. What was the 14th Amendment? That gave citizenship to the freed slaves' children that were born here in the U.S. That's what that was for. And guess what? The Supreme Court has ruled, and Congress has even acted to expand the 14th Amendment several times. Never does it cover illegals having kids here. Let me run through it for you. In 1868, they passed the 14th. In 1884, some Chinese people, they got some kids here. And the Supreme Court rules very clear. If you are not in the United States legally, your kids are not U.S. citizens. Oh, imagine that. 1898, they clarify it again. Chinese citizens again. Got green cards, they're here legally. And the Supreme Court says, yeah, if you are in the U.S. and you're not a U.S. citizen, but you are here legally, guess what? Your kids are citizens. All spelled out in the Supreme Court. That's the law. 1917, Congress is like, dude, we need more people for this fucking war. We need to make Indians and Puerto Ricans U.S. citizens. So that's what they did. They did that, made Puerto Rican citizens, and Congress did that. Congress did it. 1917, Puerto Ricans become U.S. citizens. 1924, all Indians become U.S. citizens. How in the fuck then, you ask, did these goddamn illegals start having anchor babies? It's the crooked fuck LBJ. And as we're all about to find out, as the information keeps piddling out about JFK's assassination, LBJ had a fucking hand in setting that up. Hired Mac Wallace. Look that guy up. Mac Wallace. Yep. And see who's around him in his circle in Texas. It's an ex-president as well. LBJ, giant piece of shit. Somewhere in his term, his State Department just starts handing out U.S. birth certificates to anybody who's born in the U.S. They just did it. No act of Congress. No fucking nothing. The fucking sneaky fuck snake Democrats have been doing this shit since we took their fucking slaves away in 1863. Like, this shit is out of fucking hand. Donald Trump fucking slaying it over here, bringing us back to this. the fucking republic. We are not a democracy. We are a republic. Bringing it around to the whole solution, guess who else was a republic? Rome. Guess who else ran into the same problem? Rome. Guess what they did? They created the plebs. They had the plebs and the citizens. The plebs, they had all the fucking access to everything the Roman citizens had. Guess what? Plebs can't vote. There you go. It's as easy as that. If Congress wants to act, we can create a citizen or a level of nationality within the United States that can be here, pay taxes, have access to all that, go to school, not be a citizen. You can't vote. You're welcome. Long live the Republic. Fucking history kicks ass.
Trump's executive order on ending birthright citizenship has been released, so I'm going to break down who it affects, when it starts, and what it all means. Right now, if you're born in the United States, you're automatically a United States citizen, and that is based on the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. But this new executive order is trying to reinterpret that. Trump has declared in this executive order that if you're born in the United States 30 days after the date of this executive order, you won't be a U.S. citizen if your mother was undocumented at the time of your birth and your father was not a United States citizen or a lawful permanent resident. You also won't be a U.S. citizen 30 days from the date of this order if your mother is in the United States legally, but temporarily, like on a student visa, a work visa, or a tourist visa. And your father is not a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident. So if you're born before the effective date of this order, you're a United States citizen, and this is not a retroactive executive order. Also, if at least one parent is a United States citizen or a lawful permanent resident, then their child is a United States citizen. Children of green card holders or lawful permanent residents are also considered to be U.S. citizens at the time of birth per this executive order. Now again, the order applies to babies born 30 days from the date of this order and beyond, and the order has directed government agencies to give their guidance on how it's going to be enforced within 30 days from now. Now, can the president actually do this? Many legal experts say absolutely not, and that's because of the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. And that's because the 14th Amendment says that all persons born in the United States and who are subject to the jurisdiction thereof are U.S. citizens at birth. And courts have historically interpreted this very broadly. And the Supreme Court has ruled that being born in the United States makes you a citizen irrespective of your parents' immigration status. The executive order also clearly violates U.S. law, specifically Title 8 of the United States Code, Section 1401, which says that people born in the U.S. are U.S. citizens. So what's likely to happen is that lawsuits will probably be immediately filed to challenge this executive order, and courts may block it from even going into effect. And if it's challenged all the way, it could go all the way to the Supreme Court, which will ultimately decide its fate. I do think this order is very likely going to be blocked even at the Supreme Court level, but it's definitely opened up a massive debate on birthright citizenship. For more immigration news and information, feel free to give us a follow.
Well, first of all, President Trump is not violating the 14th Amendment. What President Trump is doing is simply going back and revisiting the 14th Amendment clause that was written by Senator Jacob Howard in 1866 when he argued this on the floor in the Senate House. And he made it very clear, of course, the 14th Amendment states that every person born within the United States and subject to their jurisdiction is by virtue a natural law and national law a citizen of the United States. But he continues on. And this is where the liberal courts missed it, because Senator Howard said in his own mouth, remember, this is the framer, the writer, the author of the 14th Amendment Citizenship Clause. Senator Jacob said this in 1866. This will not, of course, include persons born in the United States who are foreigners, aliens, who belong to the families of ambassadors or foreign ministers accredited to the government of the United States, but will include every other class of person. This is black and white, ladies and gentlemen, that President Trump is within his right to declare on day one, I will sign an executive order blocking the liberal court's misinterpretation of what Senator Howard intended of the 14th Amendment clause, citizenship clause of 1866. So President Trump was within the right. If we can block this, we can stop this mass illegal immigration that is coming into the United States of America and stop allowing people to take from our national government without adding anything to it. I agree with President Trump. revisit the 14th Amendment, revisit the Citizenship Clause, and do exactly what Senator Jacob Howard intended for 1866.